Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? Matt Jarbo here, Hollywood After Dark. Today, of course, is the 12th of April, 2021, although it is almost midnight. So it could be the 13th, wherever you guys might be finding yourself. Of course, welcome to the show. This again. We're just going to be hanging out here. Andrew here asks the hard question. So are we going to be talking about weird anime fetishes? I don't know, Andrew. If it comes up, it comes up. Lord Slug here says, we need to hear Matt's full anti-anime speech. I don't have it written down yet. So there we go. Y'all need to go to artbreeder.com. Okay. I will look that up before I bring it up on the screen. We're only a couple minutes in. Okay. I guess it's, what is this here? Is this like an NFT sort of thing? I literally have no idea. I don't even know what NFTs are, but we'll check it out. All right, take a quick look here. Midnight Fox says, didn't know you were going live. Didn't know myself either, to be fair. Until I got home about a half hour ago. Funny story. I'm driving home from doing my deliveries, and as I live in the woods, right? I live in the woods. It's pretty quiet out here at night. And I'm turning down like the cross street to my place. And there's one car headed towards me, and I recognize the headlights. I'm like, it's a cop, So, doing the speed limit and shit. And a cop passes me. It's a sheriff. I'm driving. All of a sudden, he flips around, and I'm like, oh, motherfucker, dude. I didn't do anything. I wasn't speeding. So I'm like doing the speed limit and whatnot. The motherfucker follows me all the way home. Passes my house, immediately turns back around and speeds off and shit. So I'm pretty sure they were looking for someone who maybe had a car that matches mine. Guess what? I drive a Kia Soul. Okay, pretty common. Not the most unique vehicle out there. In the Northwest, they're pretty frequent. You can find one on just about every street corner. But I was driving a black Kia Soul in a predominantly white neighborhood at night. So maybe I was being profiled. I don't know. Which is not a joke to be making during with what's going on in Minnesota. So clearly I was being just talking in jest. And I really hope that that the shit gets figured out soon. All right. That was my night of nutshell. Hey, what's going on, Music Man? How you doing, buddy? Okay, let's see here. H Parts here says, continuing your anime talk. Also $5. Thank you, sir. Continuing your anime talk. This is just my experience. Every person I met who likes anime is weird socially. Yeah, I remember when anime first started kind of like making its way into the United States, right? Like people have been pretty much like assimilated to it now. It's been normalized. It's been mainstreamed. But like, I remember when it was called Japanimation back in the 80s and 90s. I remember when it was called Japanime before it was just shortened down to anime. And there's like some cool shit, that I've seen over the years that I liked. I mean, I recently did pick up Ghost in the Shell 25th anniversary edition on 4K. And so that's pretty awesome. And I have nothing against well-told stories. But what I noticed was a lot of these people watching it, and then they really wanted to be Japanese. There was like a really weird thing with a bunch of suburbanite white kids. Kind of like when you had like the the rap craze from the 90s. So like, cause I mean, it's if you talk to any rapper, like hardcore gangster rapper that made their money in the 90s, they know that suburban white kids were the ones pushing those albums to platinum, double platinum, right? They know that all the money came from suburban white kids. So suburban white kids really wanted to act ghetto. So you'd have like, the type of people that they would act the part. And it was really stupid because everyone would laugh at them. Like, what are you doing? Like, there's a whole movie called Malibu's Most Wanted that stars Jamie Kennedy. I think that came out in 2005. And that movie very much like stereotyped that whole persona. But when it comes to the anime thing, you had a bunch of kids, again, a bunch of suburban white kids, ordering kimonos from overseas and like really wanting to get their hands on like, samurai sword, you guys, is a really big Japanese craze. My favorite were people who were learning to speak Japanese at the time just so they could argue, so they could sound like their favorite Japanese voice actor. They were really into it. It never spoke to me on that front. It never came to me on that front. I never quite fucking got it at that point. There's some stuff that I've watched, like I've watched Full Metal Alchemist. That was really good. I've watched Death Note. That was really depressing, but also really good. I've watched, Kenshin, Rory Kenshin, But I saw the movie, like the violent shit, before it went to that, that Cartoon Network style of olo, olo, olo. I saw that. I've watched Macross. I've watched Crying Freeman. I've watched a bunch of old. I couldn't get into Neon Genesis. I tried. I found it to be very boring. I was very bored by Neon Genesis. Although I will admit I did like Ranma 1/2, but then again I was 18 and there were titties. So I am only human. I like titties. So there's that. But really, yeah, anime is I don't think anime is degenerate. I think that there are people who are degenerates who like anime. And I think that there's this weird cultural thing there. It might just be that it's different. It might just be that like the kids who really liked anime, they like Japan is more technologically focused. But look at the side effects of anime now and gaming now in Japan. And by the way, I'm not advocating against any of this shit. I'm merely pointing out that there is a phenomenon there called herbivore man. We effectively know them here in the States as NEETs. And NEETs are people who never leave their house. They don't get jobs. They just sit at home all day and they play video games, pandemic or no pandemic. And in Japan, this is a big problem because a lot of these guys, they become voluntarily celibate. They get waifus. They get their waifu pillows. They don't have any interest in interacting with women for the purpose of sexual intercourse or relationships or even procreation. We are seeing a massive decline in birth rates in Japan. It's been going on for years. Same with Norway, I believe. And so you've got problems there. And it's gotten to the point where like the Japanese government is like, fuck, dude, we're fucking fucked. Holy shit. Okay, fine. Give people tax breaks. Give them tax breaks. Give them tax breaks. Get them married. Get them fucking. Get them giving kids. Get them popping out babies. Because they need to like, once the elderly population dies off and shit, dude, like there's going to be this problem. Now that's how I recall it from years. It could be different now. Someone could update me on it, but that's what I remember it being. And a lot of the herbivore men is not just video games. A lot of it's anime too, and like, I'll just say this, the one guy I know who's currently in jail for like showing a minor pornography for the sake of sexual gratification was really in the anime. All right. Like I just, there is a social stigma that comes with it. I'm not trying to, do correlation equals causation situation. This guy was fucking weird. I've known him since high school and that shit blew my fucking mind. And I just remember all the fucking school age anime shit he brought to work and watched. So I've got my own little side of it where I'm like, little creepy, but I like the the adult shit. The non-sister fucking stuff. There's a lot of sister fucking in those games that come out of Japan. The dating sims. It's like, you ever watch the trailer? So do you want to play a game where you, a high school shut-in, goes on a ski vacation with all the popular girls in school, including your younger sister. And in this game, you have the opportunity to bed any of them. But the only true ending is the one where you bone your sister. That's an actual game. I forget what it was called, but they were at a ski lodge. And it was a dating game, and you could fuck. It was a hentai game. And you could fuck every person there. But to get the best ending in the game, you had to fuck your sister. Like, that was the game. So they put out this kind of shit that ends up getting out there, and it gets mixed in with a lot of like the more mainstream stuff, I think. And it gives people the wrong impression. Never mind the socially awkward individuals who come across as being socially awkward. Not to say that they're bad people, but they look like they're socially awkward. And then they're just like, they're wearing like a brony t-shirt or something along those lines. You're just like, You know what I mean? That's kind of how I view it. Anyway, let me, I know. Let's see here. Music Man says, I watched 2003's Old Boy. Old Boy is fantastic. I fucking love Old Boy. And he also likes titties. That's great. Hugo here says, much respect about yesterday's Streetbuck Theater video. Thank you. Thank you very much, man. I'm making more hyperbolic statements about it, right? Otakus. Oh God. I remember the otaku things. Let's see here. All right, H Bart's here, another $5. Thank you, man. Says, do you remember when it was weird to be a gamer? When I went to school in the early 2000s, people said games were for freaks, but by 2010, everything changed. Yeah, when I was in school, like no one was really against it. When I was in high school, like the Nintendo 64 and the PlayStation were out. Like the Dreamcast came out 9/9/99. That was the day I started my senior year of high school. No one really was against it at that point. Like none of my friends, like all my friends were gamers. We always played GoldenEye and shit. But like no one really talked a lot of shit about it. Maybe it was like my school. It was a different thing because when I was in middle school, Pogs, literally Pogs, were like all the fucking rage for quite some period of time. So I think I've just kind of grown up around like nerdier individuals or like people who are more accepting of that. There was never any like, oh, you're a gamer and like shove someone in a fucking locker. Like that never happened in my experience. People were cruel in other ways, but not necessarily about that. So I've never seen that personally. I know the stereotype exists. I know it exists predominantly in like, 80s and early 90s. But by the time I got to high school, it had all changed. But nowadays it's absolutely changed 100%. So let's see here. All right. Andrew Christie here says, thank you very much, Andrew. The trend that is starting to creep into the Western world, I think too. Oh, you mean like the non-birth rate shit? Yeah, dude. That's why I mentioned the NEETs. The incels. We would effectively call them now incels, the involuntarily celibate, the ones that are angry about not being able to get laid. And then they put that on somebody else. It's like, that's a fucking problem. That's an actual legitimate issue. I don't know how to fix it, dude. I say fucking legalize prostitution and shit. You know what I mean? Like, could we get government funded like prostitution rings or some like brothels and shit? Where it's like Medicare for all, right? If we're going to offer up, here's the thing. I know this is supposed to be like a weird movie conversation shit, but if we were to do Medicare for all, and that would include mental health, because that's a big problem. Mental health is a big problem. Could we also like parlay that into just having state sponsored brothels, legalize prostitution, regulate it, tax it, make sure the participants, men, women, whatever they identify as, are up to code in regards to medical shots, vaccines, everything else. So they're not spreading any kind of diseases. And then, just like dole out the hand jobs. I'm just saying if we as a society are able to dole out more hand jobs, we would probably be able to save some lives because people just wouldn't be that upset. You know what I mean? They're like, they're stressed out. They're bunched up like, oh my God, but then like go and they get a fucking handy. All right, cool. Just saying. Could stop some shootings. Let's see here. Did Jarbo own Alf Pogs? I'm pretty sure I did. At some point in time. So anyway, like, look, the whole thing is I'm not against anime. I just traditionally don't watch it. But if people have people have good anime, I like action packed, like violent shit. Okay. Cause I'm a man. I'm an American man. Give me the violence and the sex. Give me them titties. Like, I'll take that. But if you have any good recommendations that are on Netflix, I haven't seen Attack on Titan. It looks cool, but also really creepy. The Titans creep me out, man. They really do. They bother me. I look at a Titan and I'm just like, no, thank you. But I should check it out. But if you have any good recommendations for Netflix, let me know. Okay. All right. H Bart's here. Another $5. Thank you, sir. Says, you think robots will ever look and act exactly like humans one day? Oh yeah. 100%. Like 100%. It's absolutely 100% that people are going to want robots that they want robots with programmable personalities. Are you telling me like that you wouldn't? And I'm asking this like legitimately and also somewhat hyperbolically and facetiously. But if you were presented with the opportunity to, let's say, like, who is your favorite female who's your crush? Well, female celebrity crush or male celebrity crush, whatever you're into. And you had the ability to like program them like the Lucy Liu bot from that episode of Futurama. And it literally had their personality like plugged into this silicon-based robot that acted like them, talked like them. I mean, are you telling me you wouldn't? And I mean, like, the thing is they'd have to consent, by the way, although there would be black market. There'd be tons of could you imagine people like bootlegging female celebrity personalities through CAD files on like a fucking torrent, and then like inputting that into their like low res sex doll, and this is like the weirdest amalgamation of all time, but they still have sex with it. Like, I mean, I could see that happening. You know, I would much prefer that to be a reality than the ability to 3D print guns. You know, but yeah, eventually, I mean, we have to get the AI to the point, and AI is getting there. So there we have it on that one. All right. So Andrea says, what the fuck are we even talking about tonight? $5. Thank you, sir. Says, I totally agree, Matt. I'm from Australia where prostitution is legal. It should be legal here for sure. It should be. We live in a puritanical society. It's one of the reasons why the MPAA exists. It's all there just to control people and what you witness. You know, then by the way, all the MPAA is completely owned by the goddamn fucking studios. They fucking fund all that shit. It's just a lobbying arm for Hollywood. That's all it is. But Jack Vincente and those stupid fucking rules from back in the day fucked the whole goddamn thing up. I hate the MPAA, by the way. And no one, you know, like everyone's afraid to go R-rated and shit. You know, it's all got to be PG-13, happy slappy fucking fuck fest. No, fuck that shit. You know, we've seen R-rated movies do well. There's nothing wrong with having adult entertainment. You know what? I look at it like this. If you have children and you want your children watching it, then fucking don't show it to them. When I was a kid, my parents didn't want me watching certain things. So you know what I did? I got out and I snuck out and I saw them myself. My mom was like, you're too young to watch Pulp Fiction. You're too young to watch Seven. So you know what I did? When they were going to go out for the evening, I went to Hollywood Video and I rented both movies. And I went home and I watched both movies at the age of 15. They had no idea. And you know what? I'm fine. Okay? I love Pulp Fiction. I love Seven. Fantastic movies. My point is that fuck the MPAA is basically what I want to say here. But at the same time, prostitution should be legal, 100%. Let's see here. Ash Eternal, $10. Thank you so much, Ash. Really appreciate it. That one fateful day in 2016 when I was stuck in traffic on the 101 South and YouTube recommended your Ghostbusters video to me. Here we are 5 years later. What a journey. Oh, well, thank you very much, Ash. Yeah, man, fuck. I like to joke that I made more money off of Ghostbusters than Sony did, which is sad because at any point in time, any PR person could have stopped them and been like, don't stop talking. And people have learned Ghostbusters is like a seminal. Ghostbusters 2016 is like that experience that like it's going to serve as a warning. You know, it's going to serve as an absolute fucking warning to like all of these other companies, because what's going to happen is they look at it and they go, okay, let's not do that. Right? Like, let's not attack the fan base, which is what they did. Let's not use the media to attack the fan base, which is what they did. Let's not have the head of the studio, the director of the movie, and the main actor in the movie come out and attack the fans. What do the fans want? A continuation of the story. What are we going to give them? A new Ghostbusters song by Fall Out Boy and Missy Misdemeanor Elliott that only plays in the movie for like 10 seconds, and it's like the only good part in the song. But Ray Parker Jr., we hear him in the beginning of the movie. We hear the song, which is what everybody wanted to fucking hear. And again, he wasn't invited back to work on a new track. He was actually ignored in that movie. There should be like a documentary about how bad Ghostbusters 2016 was. And maybe I'll make it one day. Maybe I'll sit down and I'll make that video for the main channel. Just talking about it from a historical perspective. Maybe it'll be a podio commentary, not about how the movie was made, but about the controversy, because literally people were attacked for like no good reason. And we've seen more of that now, the media acting as a weapon for the studios. And that movie was very much a case study and what not to do. And there's been times when like Lucasfilm has dabbled in that and other companies have dabbled in that, but we haven't seen anything as bad as Ghostbusters 2016 on that front. There should have been a fucking revolt, an absolute fucking revolt of fans against the studio and everyone involved in that fucking movie because of how bad it was. And I still went to go see, I still gave it the benefit of the doubt. I went to the early preview screening and I was hoping I was wrong. I was not wrong. It was bad. But still, like, you know, and like, People like I'll rag about, like the fandom menace going off on fucking whatever you want to call it, like Star Wars and shit. People always go like, "Oh, but you're bringing up, but you milked Ghostbusters," and I'm like, no. There's a difference though. Okay, when I talked about Ghostbusters, I never said boycott the movie. I never said don't go see it. I told people to go see it for themselves, and everything I talked about was something new. It was something new. I didn't just rehash the same old argument time and time and time again. It was always something new. That's what that was. And I'll tell you this, I'll tell you guys this, the same way I feel about The Last Jedi all these years later. I hate the fact that I don't like those movies because that is antithetical to me as a person. I love movies. That's just a reality. I don't want to dislike movies. When I dislike a movie, that's not a good thing because it bothers me because I don't want to dislike anything. Like I dislike The Last Jedi less now. I still can't get over Ghostbusters 2016. I have tried. I have watched the extended cut. I have tried to watch it again on home video afterward. I have tried to lie to myself over that movie. I have absolutely positively tried everything I can think of to enjoy that movie, to get past my at that film, and I can't do it. But I appreciate you watching. Thank you. I try to be as honest of an actor as I can. I mean, there's been some dips, let's be fair, but that's where I'm at with it. Anyway, thank you so much, Ash. I really appreciate it. Okay. Let me take a look here. I just don't want to miss anything. I saw there's a $2. All right. H Barts here says, gotta go with Wonder Woman. Oh yeah. I get you, dude. I get you, man. That would be one of those things. That'd be absolutely one of those things to get on down with. All right. Let me see here. Okay. Did I ever see the movie, the documentary, This Film Is Not Yet Rated? I did. Yeah. Kirby Dick. The thing is though, I like that one, but then Kirby Dick went on to go do The Hunting Ground and more recently the Woody Allen one. And like The Hunting Ground skewed so much data. Like the female filmmakers behind that movie, skewed so much data that like I couldn't take it seriously. And seeing that them working with Kirby Dick on this, it's like I have journalist friends that have torn the Alan V. Farrow documentary apart. And I'm watching the Q Into the Storm documentary series right now. And like that to me like hits so fucking close to home because Gamergate's been mentioned a couple times. I've talked with Frederick Brennan, Hot Wheels who created 8chan. Milo Yiannopoulos was in there. I know Milo. It's like, I mean, like that, this is a documentary series that like showcases that fighting for ethics in video game journalism was co-opted by Steve Bannon through Breitbart Media and all the conservative stuff, to more or less funnel in a digital army of what would be the alt-right. And I had a hand in that. That's such a weird revelation. Not that it was a direct, not that I was pushing for it. I clearly am against it, but like, I didn't think about it at the time. I was so close to it. I didn't think about it. I didn't see what was happening. And even when I realized that some shit was happening, I couldn't actually do anything because by that point in time, like it had already been co-opted. You know what I mean? So like, it just sucked. It just sucked, man. Like I met a lot of great people in Gamergate that were just wanting ethics in journalism, but my God, did it get fucked. Anyway, let's see. All right. Hey, what's going on, Anna? How you doing? All right. Let's see. Let me take it. I see they say Ryan here, $10. Thank you very much. Okay. His anime recommendation. I'm going to take a screenshot of this too, by the way. So I remember it, Ryan. Thank you. Anime recommendations: Akira, Perfect Blue, Barefoot Gen, Paranoia Agent, anything by Studio Ghibli, Ghost in the Shell, Paprika, Ghost Stories. Okay. I mean, I've watched a bunch of Studio Ghibli. I did just recently watch Earwig and the Angry Witch, or Earwig, whatever it was, that the first Ghibli 3D. Oh my God, that was the first half was not good. The second half, it got a little bit better. And by the time it ended on such a cliffhanger. I'm like, fuck, So like I watched that, and that's now out on Blu-ray. Like I'm not going to buy it, but I watched that one recently. I didn't hate it, but it was, I'm like interested enough to see a sequel. But I'll definitely check out the Akira. I want to see, because isn't like the ending of Chronicle, like I heard that was heavily inspired by Akira. So let's see. Ryan here says Ghostbusters 2016 is the only Ghostbusters film I've ever seen. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. What are you doing? What are you doing? No, you need to go watch 1984, man. Like 1984 was the shit. I'm just saying. Like I like Ghostbusters 2 even. Did I ever watch Be Kind Rewind? I did watch Be Kind Rewind. Thought I was going to love it. Ended up not really caring for it. Not that I hated it. It was just mediocre and I never really wanted to go back. I think that Michelle Condrey, because also Michelle Condrey fucked up Green Hornet, let's be fair. Like when he's doing those like more avant-garde indie films like Eternal Sunshine, those are up his alley. Because he's a very visual filmmaker. And he was a French music director, right? But when you do something like Be Kind Rewind, like I love the concept of Be Kind Rewind, but I felt its execution was not great. Jack Black was awesome. Most Def, and I like Most Def, but I didn't really feel like Most Def was that good in it. I did like Sigourney Weaver popping up in it. I did like Mia Farrow in it. I liked that the community kind of rallied around it, to save a video store, which was great. And then it was also fun at the time. I think in 2008 is when it came out, 2008, seeing a bunch of people that were tweeting movies on the internet. That was pretty cool before all the copyright nonsense with YouTube, because that shit's all crazy now. So I've seen, I maybe I need to go back and watch it again now that I'm older, but at the time it wasn't my favorite thing in the world. Let's see. John here says Freddy versus Jason is better than The Last Jedi. Well, I'm not going to disagree with you on that one. All right. Andrew here says $5. Thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate that. Ghostbusters 2016 was so bizarre. The clear backlash from general audiences juxtaposed with the good reviews it got from critics was so weird. Well, critics, I think at that point in time, critics had, for the most part, absolutely tied themselves to that movie. They had tied themselves to it and they could not be wrong, right? They couldn't be wrong with it. It had to actually be, they had to defend it. And then Sony's marketing was like, oh, we're certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Like they were holding on to that metric, like for dear life. And I'll tell you this, man, like I know maybe like 3 people who saw that movie and liked it when it came out. And maybe like 1 person now who still likes it. It has not aged well. I mean, Paul Feig has done 2 movies since then. Like he did that, a simple favor or whatever the hell it was. The Blake Lively and a Kendrick movie. I never saw it. I think it's on Hulu right now. And then he also did like, was it Last Christmas or something like that with Emilia Clarke and Henry Golding. And he did those. And like, other than that, like, and those had no fanfare. There was no from the director of Ghostbusters 2016, like none of that shit. Because if you recall, like go back to 2010, Bridesmaids, or 2011 Bridesmaids. I mean, that was an Academy Award nominated movie, right? What did he do? He followed that up with The Heat. I didn't really care for The Heat, but you know what? It was all right. And then he did Spy. I love Spy, by the way. I would love to see a sequel to Spy. I don't know why there hasn't been a sequel to Spy. Melissa McCarthy keeps making these shitty fucking movies like Thunder Force that just came out. It's like, okay, whatever. But Spy was really good. Because the thing with Paul Feig is Paul Feig does subversive comedy really well. So he's really good at mixing genres, like taking like Bridesmaids was like The Hangover, but subverting the comedy. The Heat was like a buddy cop movie from like the late 80s and early 90s, like Lethal Weapon or Last Boy Scout, like a Shane Black movie, and Tango and Cash. That wasn't Shane Black, but you guys know what I'm trying to say. And he flipped it on its ear. Spy. It was the same kind of concept. It's a spy movie, but instead of being like a suave, debonair gentleman spy, it's Melissa McCarthy, a cat lady, and it was funny. It worked. And then he goes and he takes that concept and he applies it to Ghostbusters, which you don't do, because Ghostbusters, the comedy works because people believe it, because the actors believe the world that they're in. The world is as our world operates, but it has a supernatural bent. So what happens? These guys become fucking exterminators, and they go through the process of opening a business to become exterminators. And that's it. It's a working man's comedy. It's a blue collar comedy. The comedy comes from the reaction to the world around them, but the world is treated as being legitimate. The world has consequences. In Ghostbusters 2016, they capture 1 ghost, they let it go, and it kills Bill fucking Murray. And then they never mention it again. It's just like everything about that movie is so just, they bungled it from the get-go. And it boggles my goddamn mind. It just boggles my fucking mind. Let's see here. Okay. Hugo here says, "Can You Ever Forgive Me" was a film that I actually saw Melissa McCarthy and enjoyed her performance. I mean, I've heard it was really good. I want to see it. She is better. She is better. I like Melissa McCarthy, but she needs to stop working with her husband. Her husband is Ben Falcone. He's a mediocre director. They should really not work. She should not be in a movie he directs. But I think other than that, he wouldn't get any work, if I'm being fair. I don't think he'd get any work unless, unless they, that was the whole thing. Let's see. Oh, Roastbusters. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah. Oh yeah. And you guys seem to like, Spy. Yeah. See, H. Wright's here. Spy was great. Andrew Christie, Spy was a lot of fun. And then Tony here makes a good point. Rian Johnson did the same thing what Paul Feig did by blaming people for not liking their respective films. Look, and the fact, the truth of the matter is, yeah, that's correct, right? The truth of the matter is that is correct. Paul Feig was attacking people before the movie even came out, which I'm like, because the thing was, he legitimately thought, I believe, that the studio, that the movie wasn't made for the fans of the original film. Right. And that was even kind of carried over when the movie hit home video, because people were asking him like, "Oh, is there going to be a Ghostbusters 2?" And he goes, and this is what he says, and I'm paraphrasing, but it's basically this point. He says, if you are a Holtzman fan, get out there and buy the movie. If you're a Holtzman fan, not if you're a fan of Melissa McCarthy or Leslie Jones or fucking Kristen Wiig. If you are a Kate McKinnon fan, and let's be fair, Kate McKinnon is a goddamn treasure. If you are a fan of her, go buy this movie, because Holtzman was the standout. I do give 2016 credit, because that is what made us realize that Chris Hemsworth can be funny. And as a result of that, and the response to that is, I think, why we got Thor Ragnarok the way that we did. So that is the one caveat I grant that movie, is it gave us funny Thor. And I loved funny Thor because it worked really well as an arc with his character going from Ragnarok into Endgame, or into Infinity War and then into Endgame. It was a great arc for him. A great trilogy arc right there. I thought that worked out real well. And they gave his character depth through all three of those films. And we got one in 2017, 2018, and 2019. So that to me is like the definitive Thor arc right there. And I'm really happy with that. But otherwise, no, the movie's terrible. All right. Thanks a lot for coming in, Geeks. Have yourself a good one, man. Have yourself a good one. Let's see here. Am I saying Batman will save Melissa from her husband's movies? Is she in Batman? Is she in the Batman movie? I don't know. Yes, but Batman could. Batman butt plugs totally could. Annie here asks, why not just do an original film at that point? An entry into the series should obviously cater to fans of the original on some level. Well, the thing with it is, though, the thing to consider in regards to Ghostbusters 2016 was Amy Pascal, who was the head of the studio at the time, when she greenlit it, she was making this initiative, this more female-based, diverse approach. And again, I don't have a problem with like representation or voices, okay? But she went to Paul Feig 3 times to get him to reboot the franchise, and he kept saying no, until he finally pitched her what we saw. That's what he pitched her. Those came out in the 2014 email hack from Sony. We learned a lot about Ghostbusters from that movie, or from that hack. And as a result of that, like you could see that he threw out this crappy ass idea, and then he got his writing partner, Kate Dippold, to write it. And then, but she didn't, I mean, the whole movie was fucking ad-libbed, right? The whole movie was ad-libbed. Because at the time, that was how like Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly and Adam Sandler and all those guys were doing movies. They were just ad-libbing lines, and then they would cut it together in post. They would just edit everything together. But that's not, like that can't really work when you're trying to take the comedy seriously. There also wasn't a story. There wasn't a villain to care about or to like hate. Who hated Neil? You had no reason to hate Neil, because they never gave you a reason to hate Neil. At one point, he just goes like, "You have all made fun of me, and now I will rule over you," or some shit like that. And you're like, okay, because that guy was supposed to be that guy was supposed to be the representation of quote unquote all the male fans who were trashing the movie because it was a female reboot. That was the whole point. He was written like an online misogynist troll with less of a fucking edge than the shit you see online. It was terrible. It was just so god awful. Nothing there held any kind of weight. I mean, look, at the end of the first Ghostbusters movie, like the Stay Puft Man shows up, it starts destroying that building and they blast him and they explode marshmallow everywhere. Right. And it turns into like the world's most stickiest money shot. However, there was consequences, right? Ghostbusters 2, Vigo the Carpathian has taken over the museum. He's put the ooze around it. So it's like, all right, what do the guys do? Well, the guys then go and do the happy ooze to, animate the Statue of Liberty to be able to go on and to crack through it, to go in and save Oscar and Dana. Bam. You know what I mean? Like there's consequences to that shit. There's consequences. There's physical consequences to the world around them. In Ghostbusters 2016, all the ghosts come out, right? There's all the shit. They end up like, driving the Ecto-1 into the portal, and then they blast it in order to shut the portal. And then they get zapped out and like nothing changed. Nothing changed. There is no destruction. There is no damage. People had seen some shit, but that was really about it. That was really about it. There was literally no consequences to the world around them for what happened. So it's like, what again is the fucking point? So, I'm just saying, man, like, well, Ben Falcone is her husband. That's her husband's name. Anyway, I know. Let's see here. Name a worse match for an actor and character than Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. No, I liked him as Mr. Freeze, to be honest with you. I did. I thought he was interesting. I always enjoyed the campiness of it because it felt like it was kind of mirroring the campiness of the 66 series, So I never, look, I can appreciate what Schumacher was doing at that point in time. I'm not saying that it was great, but it's like I can appreciate it. The movie still sucks, by the way. Movie's still god awful terrible, but it could be pretty fun. Let's see here. Okay. Eddie Evolutioneer says, we're getting Ghostbusters Afterlife, the true follow-up to the franchise. So we can thank 2016 for existing because it flopped, forcing the execs to go back to their original plans. That's actually not exactly true. So in 2017 at Comic-Con, I went to the IDW panel on Ghostbusters where Ivan Reitman was there. And Ivan Reitman was talking about Ghostbusters 2016. This was a year after it came out. And you could tell at the time that they were still trying to find a way to make it work. They were still trying to find a way to not give up on 2016 because they don't want to admit failure. Studios never want to admit failure. And they were pimping the IDW comics where Holtzman goes through a portal through the containment unit and ends up in Ghostbusters Prime's universe. And she learns from like Egon, I think. And I mean, granted, Harold Ramis was dead at this point, and thank God for that. I think he would have had a fucking shit fit over that movie. But you could tell that they were trying to sell this idea and see if they could get fans on board, because while Ghostbusters 2016 is not what I would call a success, it definitely wasn't as much of a flop as people like to make it out to be. So they've made money off of it and they want to continue it, but they probably realized that just after all this shit, what the fuck's the point? No one really the critics liked it, but the movie, obviously audience goers didn't care for it. And I'm pretty sure home video sales were less than stellar. If you have the director saying, hey, if you like Kate McKinnon, go buy the movie, that's definitely an issue. So I would think to an extent that they went back and they realized that the fans don't want a new universe. They want to see a continuation. And they already knew that with Ghostbusters, the video game, having come out and having been with everybody and everyone loved it. But I think this was Sony wanting under Amy Pascal wanting to find a way to reboot it. Then Tom Rothman comes in, and Rothman also, by the way, backed up all this shit. He was out there also saying that like the misogynist trolls and crap. He was out there attacking fans. But he's also known for budget. And I have a feeling Jason Reitman, who is an acclaimed director and also self-professed original Ghostbusters fan because he was, probably had an idea, probably talked it over with his dad and said, look, I'll direct it or something. And so they pitched this idea to Sony. Probably, look, they left New York. They went to the countryside. Why? Cheaper budget. They lowered the budget. This is my speculation that they lowered the budget and they got a relatively unknown cast, right? And then they're going to be building it around family and building it around Egon's legacy and Egon's kids. And then whatever happens there. And they're going to be tying it in, I believe, through the Shandor mine. So you can kind of tell, like they took it back to lower budgets in order to get it made, which at the end of the day is what they needed to do anyway. And as a result of this, like the mini puffs that they showed us last week looked amazing. The trailer looks great. The movie looks fantastic. It feels like Ghostbusters. It looks hysterical. I can't wait to watch it 100,000 times. And they know this is what's going to get fans back on board. So there's that. All right. So I'm going to be on about maybe another half hour because I got to go to bed here at a decent time. So I'm just going to drop the link if anyone wants to come in and we can talk about some movies and shit. Again, there's no real, I was going to potentially like go through, something I've been working on today. So I've been looking into, this lady right here. And this lady right here, Sofia Stewart, is, by her own admission, the writer and creator of The Matrix and The Terminator. And she claims that she's the official owner of both franchises, saying adjudicated facts in Utah federal court cases back in 2014. Now, this story is bonkers. I'm sure you've heard something about this, but I've been spending all afternoon researching it. And what I found was a lot of stuff. And I even found her number and I text her. And she's willing to talk to me, but it's fucking weird because she starts sending me message. She sent me a message a little bit ago with a picture of her and a boxer. I don't know who the fuck this guy is. Who the fuck is this guy? What's his name? Let's see here. Okay. Winky Wright. The Winky Wright. Who the fuck is Winky Wright, the boxer? I have no idea. But I want to get more information because not only is it her claiming she created the Matrix, another guy claimed he created the Matrix, and that dude is a QAnon nut job to an extent. So it's like, oh my God, this story it's wild, and I want to like put it into like I want to sit down and actually like do it the right way. But we'll have to wait and see, how that goes. And that's what I was working on today. But anyway, Eddie, what's up, man?
Not much. Hey, they ain't the only QAnon nut job out there. I'm sure there's a lot of them that exist. So,
oh no, there are a lot that exist, but I mean, what I mean is this guy like claims to have written The Matrix in 1998.
The movie. But yeah, I think that was all the Wachowskis, though. I mean, I think that was all.
No. It's absolutely the Wachowskis. But like the woman claims to have written the movie. She wrote a treatment for a movie called Third Eye. But the way she puts it is that she wrote it, basically her story is the Matrix and the Terminator franchise are the same franchise. Like John Connor is Neo. That's what she says. And so,
there could be some. Do you think there could be similarities? Maybe,
no,
but not
there's
exactly
not. There's not. It's been debated literally since 99, 22 years now. It's been
both sci-fi though.
Well, that doesn't really mean much.
I know.
I mean, you could argue both science fiction, both had planets destroyed by machines. One deals with the computer simulation built by the machines in order to turn humans into batteries. And the other one deals with time travel. Both are cool. I mean, yeah, sure, fine. There's similar setups in that regard, but they're totally different tonally. And there's and other than that, there's no connection. There's
and aesthetically they're different, right?
Yeah. And so she tries to argue all this stuff. It's bonkers, like it's bonkers. But what I was reading up on it, what I found was that her predominant audience are African Americans, and the reason why is because she is, the stories about her have been completely misattributed and like fake news, like literal fake news, and it went out there, but it was mostly spread by black bloggers and commentators and things like that. And what happened as a result of that is it creates this mystery around her where people think that she won this summary judgment of like $3.5 billion, making her the wealthiest writer in existence. The wealthiest black female writer in existence. Okay. So when you have a system like Hollywood, that does tend to steal from people, let's be honest. Ideas get borrowed, themes, elements, things like this. Oftentimes it's never, and oftentimes it's never enough to file an actual copyright lawsuit, but that does happen occasionally. Like I've come up with ideas like when I was a kid that like I never told anybody. And then like I see the same idea in a movie, and it's like, oh, they got to the same conclusion I did. Cool. The mind is going to work the way the mind is going to work. Maybe we were both influenced by the same thing, but we just don't know each other. So you don't know. But this woman, she just believes that she, is owed all this money. She actually believes that these people were, that they should be arrested,
I wouldn't go that far. I don't know. I mean,
she complained to the FBI about them. She complained to the
serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. She complained to the FBI about both who was it? About the Wachowskis, Jill Silver. And she says that the FBI told her about like the Terminator being involved and like that the FBI was on her side in this copyright case. And it's, I need to go through and like find all the quotes here, but there's, like there is some seriously weird crap going on, right? Let's see here. So I'll show you guys this image. This is what she has on her Twitter right now. And it's just to give you an idea of kind of like who this lady is, because it's crazy stuff. Come on, load, you bastard. All right.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, no, look at this here. This is the image she has pinned to her account. It's like the Matrix and Terminator movie fraud do not own the copyrights, not the original writers. Prosecute them now. Right? And she's like, she literally has told a federal judge that she wants these people locked up in jail. She also sued her former attorney who originally handled the case back in 2003. She sued him in a malpractice lawsuit for $150 million, which she actually won that case. But the judge denied the fees that she wanted, more or less telling her like that she doesn't have, like there's like, for one, the guy doesn't have 150 million. Two, what? Like you can't show any damages because that's the whole point. She can't show anything. They ask her like, hey, can you provide this information? And she's like
evidence that you thought that they stole from you. And it's like,
she doesn't have it. She doesn't have it. So, and I even found, and this is the thing, this is how far down the rabbit hole goes. I came across an article in the LA Times. It was an archived article from the LA Times from 2010, I believe. Oh no, it was all the way back. It was like all the way back to 2003. When did this thing happen? It was a long time ago. I have all my pages up here. It was from 2005. Sorry. 2005. Okay. And it's, it's an archived article from the LA Times. And in it, the guy is attacking her because he thinks that she's trying to swindle African Americans. And again, that's a lot of the commentary that I've come across is like how she swindled Black America. So, so he lists a website where she had been hosting some of this stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, let me go and I'll go and I'll read up about it. Right. And so I go to the website and it's like, terrible, whatever, but I was able to dig through the archives and I come across the owner of the website having written an article all the way back. Let me see here. What year was that one? Hold on here. So this is from 2008, where the guy basically goes through the fallout between him and the mother of the Matrix, and he basically says like he supported her, like supported this financially, where he was, promoting it on his website and getting his people to look at it and share it and talk about it, like underground type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then like eventually, but the thing is, she never showed him the evidence. She never showed him the evidence that she had been ripped off. Like what I mean by that is she never showed him her script. And then he wanted her to show it to him, and she kept kind of dodging until he finally comes to the realization after she asked him for money
That there's no script.
that there's no script. He's like, oh, she played me. And so he has this whole article about it. But again, it's like, it's so deep in this website that you're just not going to go find it, unless you're looking for it. So like, I've been diving into this shit. It's just been like, it's been fascinating. And I do want to like talk to her and see what she says. But based upon everything I see on her Twitter, I already know what she's going to say, So
Yeah.
like, I
But
can already, anyway, sorry. Yeah. That's my whole tangent about today.
yeah. But no, no, that was just no, that's crazy. But no, I just wanted to real quick because I know you got more people to get to, but I wanted to.
Yeah. I got a few more people to get to. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to hurry up real quick to follow up on my comment that I was making about Ghostbusters. And that's no, what I actually meant to say in the comment was that because you told me all that stuff you were explaining, you were telling me before, but what I was actually getting to was that I was just thankful for thankful for 2016 existing, mainly um because even though, because for one, no one asked for it, and of course because of the Sony hack, and and the all that stuff that happened, they gave us that movie anyway. It's like, you look at the numbers, it's like, oh, this movie's not doing well, and now they're finally going back to actually giving us what we wanted in the first place. And I like I said, I'm glad that the movie's still bad. Let's not kid ourselves, but like, but I think that thank it for existing, because now, even though Sony's not going to learn anything at this point, but it just shows them, it's like, look, listening to the fans will get you money. You'll have our money if you just listen, if you just actually acknowledge us, listen to what we want. It's not like we're not like trying to tell you listen to us all the time, but it's like, if there's a franchise that has a dedicated fan base that that the fans take seriously, take that into consideration when you're going to adapt something from it, whether it be a spin-off, a sequel, or whatever. So that's what I'm saying. Well, that's what I mean by I'm thankful for it existing, because now it shows them, it's like, you don't mess with the fans. And the fact that they're giving us the sequel we wanted in the first place with a few changes, because of course the original
Well, it's not the
concept
sequel we
was,
wanted, but it's the sequel we're happy to get.
yeah, we're happy to get out, because the one we were originally going to get was with Ivan Reitman directing and Harold Ramis when he was still alive, and it was going to be with young adults. Now that concept's out the window, because people were like, "Oh, why didn't we get this?" I was telling people, because because Harold Ramis, number one, is dead, and two, that old concept died with him. That whole concept. I'm not saying it died with Harold Ramis, like literally, but like,
Yeah, no, I get with him dying, it kind of threw it. Yeah, it really.
And Ivan Reitman didn't want the pressure, and that's why he just like, what, I'm not going to direct it. That's when Jason came in and said, "Pop, I got a good idea for this movie." So.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, I'm glad it's Jason Reitman. Like that is where I'm very happy that it's him, because I feel like that keeps it in the legacy. And I know that sounds weird, and maybe we shouldn't like think like that. I mean, it would be like, what if what if George Lucas's son wanted to come and direct Star Wars, sort of thing, right? Like, is it Jet Lucas? Is that his son's name? Or his daughter, whatever, his kids, one of his kids, a Lucas, wanted to come and do Star Wars.
Because people are already in. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, what I mean, like, what if they were like would we be accepting of that
Mhm.
if it was somebody else, like, that had a legacy name, like if it was Spielberg's kids, one of Spielberg, like one of his kids like wants to be a filmmaker, and they're like, all right, like, here, you go do Indiana Jones, because your dad did
Yeah,
Indiana Jones, you go do Indiana Jones, and people will be okay with it because you have the last name Spielberg, like that kind
yeah,
of legacy shit. But it's like the thing with Jason though is Jason has proven himself for well
mhm.
over a decade by making good movies. and
Exactly.
and and so that's the, I mean, clearly the difference here. But I he's a fan, and that to me says more than
Yeah,
anything. I don't know, I really just like the trailers, and I like what we've seen.
me
um
too. Yeah, and people were kind of like getting not only getting on Jason's case in terms of the whole with the female, the 2016 fans going after him, but like there are people who were when they first heard the announcement of Ghostbusters 3 happening now, and they're like, "Oh, we're excited," and they announced that it's going to be focused on kids, and now that everybody's throwing a fit, I'm like, "Do you guys not trust Jason Reitman?" It's like clearly like his vision was going to include characters who are much younger than what we originally were going to get from the original concept, which was going to be young adults. But the reason he has a reason for going with kids. So it's like give the guy a chance to do it because he knows the fans. Jason knows the fans like his father does. So it's like the last thing that he wants to do is turn those people away. Just
well,
what just
yeah, yeah, his dad's a businessman, and his dad understands like they made a mistake, but at the same time, Ghost Core came out of that, right? Ghost Core is the production company under Sony that is
mm,
handling the Ghostbusters, and it's not just that, they are working on an animated feature film. The rumor for that, it's going to be based on the real Ghostbusters cartoon show. That's the rumor, but I don't know. They're
hey, if
supposedly
Frank
doing
Welker
like,
comes back to voice Ray, I will be down to see it.
well, he's getting a little old, and if you listen to the new Scooby Doo movie, you can hear it in his voice. So,
Well, that's age, so you can't really blame the guy fully.
oh
I mean,
yeah,
that's
oh no
just
no,
nature.
I know entirely, but hey man, I'm gonna let you go so I can get to the last couple people here, and
Yeah, I'm about to go to bed, so I just wanted to
yeah, I
do
can
this
tell
real
you're
quick.
probably already in bed. All right,
All right,
man.
man.
We'll
Peace.
we'll see you later, buddy. Have a good one, dude. Thank you. All right, we got Hugo the other. Thanks for waiting, buddy.
Oh, hey Matt. Is it okay on my side? I'm not breaking up
No,
again like
no,
last time.
you sound okay. You sound just fine.
Good, thank you.
Not a problem. So I did go a little bit longer on that one. So, what is real quick? What's on your mind?
Uh, just well, I like that we were talking about Ghostbusters already. That was probably the highlight of this live stream so far.
Probably, yeah. My
Yeah,
original content's terrible, but my old school shit, people seem to like it. So that's fine. Are you looking forward to the new Ghostbusters movie?
yeah. My relationship with Ghostbusters, the world itself, I only ever watched the first film on VHS years ago. Always wanted to go back to that world. Everyone kept telling me 2 was awful, but I
It's
just
not.
said, I
It's not.
love those dark uniforms. I want to watch it. And one day I hope to. And I want to play the game as well. I've never played the game, and like the Back to the Future, it's up there with me thinking this is the follow up to those previous films. I
Uh,
must I must
yeah,
consume.
I mean, like, I would say that you might want to, you might really want to go and watch number two. Number two is not a bad movie.
I really do. I really want to. I said the uniforms alone because they're darker. I just I must watch this film. I must know what happens. I must know why things have gone downhill. Not in quality, I mean, as people will argue to me, but in the world, I mean, because apparently the team's lost the respect of the people in New York, from what I heard about it, and that could be interesting to me.
Yeah, I think the franchise has lived on because people really really do care for it.
Hmm.
And so I think a lot of people um are I think they just wanted there to be more continuity. I think people get tired of the
Yeah.
remakes and the reboots and whatnot, and the movie just kind of came at a bad time.
Yeah, I agree. I'm someone who loves continuing stories, if there's scope for that. Uh, I never openly would go for remaking anything straight away. Sometimes, if there is potential to continue or to fix faults in an existing continuity, I'd rather continue and work on sorting those faults out rather than just restarting and abandoning the foundations previously.
Yeah, but we'll have to wait and see eventually if we ever
Yeah.
fucking get there.
I really wish Kate McKinnon was in Afterlife now. After seeing those trailers, I think she and Paul Rudd could really have bounced off each other really well. Because I watched the trailer for Ghostbusters 2016, and it was thanks to this film and Fant Stick that I was introduced to stuff like Midnight's Edge, and overall, I'd say that's a good thing. But my point being is that she was the one positive thing for the trailer for me, apart from the version of Ghostbusters that the theme that was used I thought was a bit cool, but I just felt like, yeah, Holtzman is the only thing that's making me think I could watch this film, but it's not making me say I want to go out and watch this film, because
Yeah.
everything else in it just it just felt wrong.
Well, and that's
this is
the
someone
and
who's
that's the
just in
thing.
first film.
I really do feel like they made such a gross error with this movie that like Kate McKinnon was like the only thing people probably responded to well.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure she tested well. Everyone else, because even Leslie Jones, I'm sorry, Leslie Jones is not funny in my mind. Like, I don't find her funny. I find her more obnoxious than anything else. But that's just that's just like, it is what it is.
Well,
I mean,
the legacy. Sorry.
No, well, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
The legacy of that cast for me, and that I didn't enjoy seeing most of them in the trailer I watched for the film, is that I've gone on and I really love Kristen Wiig now. I've seen her in Welcome to Me and Go Almost Likely, and although I didn't laugh much at those films, I could see the heart in them, and I felt like I could root for the characters. And maybe going back to them, I might laugh more, but I thought, yeah, this is what I want to see in Wonder Woman 1984. This is a Kristen Wiig I want to see, not Ghostbusters Kristen Wiig. And like I mentioned in the chat, Melissa McCarthy, Can You Ever Forgive Me? I thought, right, what other more serious, quote unquote, films has she done? And there's apparently one with Ryan Reynolds that got mixed reviews, but I thought, it's under the radar. I want to check that out. I want to see what apparently is the opposite of Ghostbusters to me for them.
Well, the big problem with Hollywood right now is, how many people get typecast, right? Like, even Ryan Reynolds. I love Ryan Reynolds, but every Ryan Reynolds movie is just Ryan Reynolds.
I imagine Buried Alive's the opposite, though.
Well, Buried is, he's not going to be cracking jokes
Buried,
while he's running out of oxygen in a coffin. I actually never saw that movie, but the concept was pretty cool. I think I own it. I do think I own it on DVD. I think I bought it when like Blockbuster was going out of business or something. But but the thing is, though, a lot of times people get typecast. Kate McKinnon gets brought in as like the best friend type character and things like that. She hasn't really at this point like had her big breakout, but I don't know if she's going to. Kristen Wiig is like really good in an ensemble. Kate McKinnon is good in an ensemble. That's because of the way SNL operates. And so I agree with you about like the heart and stuff like that. Like I'm a big Kristen Wiig fan as well. And I wanted more. That was like one of the only saving graces out of Ghostbusters 2016, because at the time I wasn't watching SNL, so I didn't really know who the hell Kate McKinnon was. In fact, I actually thought Kate McKinnon was rather obnoxious in the movie. That is until I started watching SNL, and I've very much fallen in love with Kate McKinnon. She's just hysterical.
I was like that watching the trailer with just seeing Holtzman. I think that's a character that part of me can relate to, because I think I get seen as a bit of an oddball. If you knew me in real life, I think I might have more in common with Holtzman than I could admit. But I saw her came in Bombshell as well, and I was really moved by her character's arc in that. It probably helps because I love Margot Robbie that they were paired up together.
Oh yeah,
And I
yeah,
loved
yeah,
her
yeah.
speech to Ellen DeGeneres, regardless of what I probably think of Ellen DeGeneres. Kate's speech about her moved me a lot, and how, as a little girl, she related to that whole coming out segment on that Ellen sitcom all those years ago.
I remember that when
I
it
love her
happened.
to
That was a big
pieces.
deal. That was a really big deal back when that happened in the 90s. I remember watching the episode, and like, but now, I mean, I don't know, like as a kid back then, it's like, oh, she's gay. Cool. As an adult, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
she's gay. Cool. Like it's just, I'm glad that we're way more accepting than we used to be. But on that, I'm going to let you go. I still got to get through like a few more people, and,
Of course.
I got to get to bed here. I gotta be up
Me
early
too.
because I got an invite into the, Army of the Dead trailer. Like they're doing a private
Nice.
trailer. So I got to be up at
Yeah.
I got to be up in like 6 hours. So I got
Okay, well, yeah, it was better talking to you this time. I really enjoyed this conversation more.
yeah, man.
I'll see you again soon, Matt.
No, I like having Colin. So thank you, man. Appreciate it. All right. Have a good one, dude. Okay. Thank you very much, Hugo. We've got, we'll just quickly, okay.
How you
All right,
doing,
Anthony.
Matt?
I'm doing good, man. I'm just blazing through people. So real quick, what's on your mind? What you've been
What's
watching?
on my mind? What's on my mind? I almost saw Raya and the Last Dragon. I'm gonna watch it this weekend.
Oh, you almost saw it.
I almost saw it.
Okay.
Look at what I got.
Let me see here. Oh, that came in the mail for you, huh?
Yep, Mom. We got 2 copies of it.
You got two. You got 2 copies of it. Why'd you get 2
my mom-
copies?
Well, and this.
You got a VHS of Highlander.
Yep.
That's nice, dude. I love Highlander.
Yeah, I love Highlander. I love Queen's soundtrack, but I almost saw Raya and the Last Dragon
You're gonna watch it tomorrow.
this weekend.
Cool,
Yeah,
man.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I trimmed my eyebrows and everything. I got haircut. RIP DMX.
Yeah, definitely rip DMX, man. That was sad.
He died of a heart attack. I know. I was listening to his music when I was 14, 15.
Same here, actually. Yeah, same here.
I'm wearing my
I remember-
Looney Tunes shirt.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
remember what?
Oh, I remember when I got my when I got It's Dark and Hell is Hot on cassette, and I would walk around like I was wearing like my Boss. No, I had a Boss hoodie or a sweatshirt at the time. I thought I was more hardcore than I was, dude. I had to represent the suburbs.
Yeah, I was
So-
14, 15 listening to that music,
Well, yeah, a lot of us were, dude. A lot of us were.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm doing good and everything. My topic is I can't wait for Ghostbusters.
oh yeah, a lot of us can't either. That comes out now in November, I believe. I think they
November.
push-
Uncharted will be out in February.
Okay. I won't believe that Uncharted is real until I actually I'm in the theater watching it.
I can't wait for Uncharted. I watched Rock Odyssey, the unproduced Hanna-Barbera movie.
Oh yeah. Well, what's funny is I was watching Scooby-Doo, right? Scoob.
Mm-hmm.
And because my daughter really got into watching it. She loves it. And my youngest daughter really likes it too. And I really enjoyed the movie a lot more. I've watched it a bunch now. When I first saw it, I didn't care for it. But now when it gets to the end credits of that movie and it starts kind of going through like the Hanna-Barbera universe and showing that it's all connected, right? Because they established a universe there. I'm like, dude, like hell yeah, man. Give me Quest Labs, in the next movie. Like give me Johnny Quest. That's what I want.
They're trying to do a live action version, but it didn't.
Well,
It's in development hell.
It's been stuck there for years, man. I think cultural insensitivity is going to be on everyone's like lips if that thing gets greenlit,
But I watched Rock Odyssey over the week. I watched Rock Odyssey.
Nice.
It was good. It's on Daily Motion.
Cool. What did I've just been watching this documentary about QAnon. So that's all I've been watching.
I was watching WrestleMania this past weekend.
Oh, with the windstorm. Didn't it have a big ass windstorm?
Yeah, it was a rain delay and everything. I was waiting patiently, and it finally came on. I'm thinking about next year going to Texas, but it's costly.
Yeah, you got to have that money if you want to travel, man. That's
But
where
right
I'm
now
at.
I want to focus on getting a house.
Well, yeah, that's you gotta there's priorities on that front, definitely, man.
And I got to work on my screenplay and my book. You know.
Yeah, have you made any movement on that front?
No, no, I have not, Matthew. But I will. But I will when my mom sets up the thing.
Cool, man. Well, hey, keep me informed on that, dude. I'm gonna
All
let you
right.
go, but
All right.
thanks
Good
for coming in,
night.
Anthony. Good night, buddy. It's almost 4 o'clock. It is 4 o'clock in the morning where Anthony is, so he's got to get to bed. But we always love having him here. All right, Yvonne, Ivan, Ivan. God damn, I can never pronounce things.
No, don't worry, Matt.
It's terrible. I'm terrible. But anyway,
Don't
thank you for waiting. I don't want to cut it too short, but we do got to kind of move it along.
Nah, yeah, that. And I know the time is short, and him to wake up too early.
Yeah,
But-
I want to watch that trailer. Not gonna lie. So
Yeah. So first of all, I saw your last video was about the news that's coming for that is bonkers now that we heard about news that are not, they're only rumors.
yeah,
Yeah, it was a good video you did there. And
thanks. I'm so like I get frustrated is what it boils down to. And because people always come to me, right? And they come to me and they'll be like, "Hey, is this true? Is this not true? What do you know about this?" I mean, the truth of the matter is like I don't know that much, but I can tell you generally what's real and generally what's fake because I pay attention to a lot of stuff. But it just becomes frustrating because it's like, I could double down and I could make content about that kind of stuff, but there's no context to any of it.
yeah, no.
So it's if I can't like sink my doing the whole Matrix thing, I can sink my teeth into that. I can dive in and like get some information and put it together. And that's something I'd like to be able to create content that people can watch more than one time. Because otherwise when I make a news video, it's a one and done. Like there's no real need to go back and watch it again once you see it.
Yeah, it's like it happened like the rumors that began from Spider-Man. They tried to, that Tobey Maguire and gave Andrew Garfield in the third movie, and yes, wait, that's not true because you have to, how can I say it? You have to finish the story about Tom Holland's Spider-Man. What happens next? Because his secret identity is being revealed. How are you gonna fix that? That's the problem, and that's why I don't how to say it, see the news of everything. So I don't give a damn. That's the thing.
And that's kind of the whole point is like when like this Spider-Man 3 rumors like, oh, is Andrew Garfield going to be in it?
Yeah.
Is all these guys going to be in it? Like, oh, that's pretty cool. But it's like I'm invested in Peter Parker's story. I'm invested in Tom Holland's story.
Yep.
I'm invested. Like I want Happy and Aunt May to get together.
Mhm.
Like I'm invested in these characters. If they're going to start using this movie to like expand everything, then I would, very much love to like see something, but I don't want it to be too over the top.
Mhm.
And that's the biggest problem though, is like, I'm afraid that they're going to try to cram so much into that movie that it's just going to end up it's going to end up taking us out of it.
I know that's the thing that I want to see. I'm seeing all your videos and everything, and like you said, take it like a grain of salt and not gain forward to it. But I would say in here where I'm from Mexico, and I want to see it until I see it from the productions, Marvel or Disney or Warner or everything. Until I see the trailer, they gave it to you, I can believe that.
Yeah. I just at this point, it's like I feel so many people are just like, they want to believe. That's what it boils down to, is they want to believe. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that things have just been so slow, right, for this last year. So they're getting antsy. They can't go to theaters. Stuff's not coming out fast enough, or it's maybe not as good or whatever. I think people are starting to realize that Netflix really does just put out a lot of crap. And you know, because they just spend money. They don't care. They just spend money.
Yeah.
You know, so you have a lot of that kind of stuff, and I think people are just like they are invested into these franchises, whether it's Star Wars or Star Trek or Marvel or DC or whatever, and they're invested into it, and they want to see this stuff continue. But it's like it ends up being this. It ends up just kind of taking over. Look at like the whole Snyder Cut thing. Like, don't get me wrong, I love that it exists. I just got my copy of BVS Ultimate remastered in 4K. You know, I'm gonna get Justice League when it comes out. I believe next month is when that releases. And I can't wait to have these movies physically and own them in my collection. But when I look at the situation involving how Warner's is responding, I'm like, look, man, I don't think that we're gonna get what we really want out of this. No, eventually maybe, but there have been people like, you know, like Taylor from the Cultured Nerd, who for some reason people keep backing up, and I've literally heard this guy say that like Ben Affleck already signed contracts to come back. You know, and like he's going to be getting a movie or a TV show and shit. Like these guys, they just make it up. And the problem though is because they do it so frequently, and that's the big issue with like the way that Lightcast and Cultured Nerd operated was like they would bounce off each other. People tended to believe it, and it ends up causing all this division. And then you get other people out there that are just like all they do is this is all they talk about, and it's like I think you guys build it up too much. Yeah. But I can't say all that. Because you know what people don't, for one, they just don't want to fucking hear it. That's what it really boils down to.
Yeah,
you know. And then I get told, I had some guy the other day, I was call me a fake Snyder fan or some shit. Like I'm a secret. No. He said I'm a secret Snyder hater. Right. Whoa. Never mind the fact I've been a fan since 2004's Dawn of the Dead, and then never, you know, whatever. You know, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Like like this is again, they don't want to listen to anything.
Yeah.
And the same thing happens with the Fandom Menace. They create these echo chambers, and inside these echo chambers, you can't ever talk about things rationally because nobody is used to feeling things rationally. It's that constant dopamine hit that they get from being angry. And so that's one of the reasons why I got so frustrated. I made that video today. I'm like, I said I haven't posted a video in a couple days.
Yeah, no, I watched that.
You know, and I'm like, there's nothing going on that I want to talk about. You know, like I enjoy tonight. Like we went off about fucking Ghostbusters for like 45 minutes. Like that's the kind of conversation I want to have where it's like, you know, like why don't we just talk about something and just chit chat and everything else? Like that to me is more fun than just trying to chase the news dragon because you know, some people can do it really well. Some people make a pretty good amount of money doing it, but it's like, that's not what I like.
You know what's funny is that I was a Star Wars fan until I finished the third Revenge of the Sith. That's when I said that's over for me. But I still like Star Wars, but I not renounced to be a fan, but I start watching any new things. Like now, I'm not a Whovian, but I like Doctor Who.
Sure.
But the thing that I like most is now the new news I saw was they're gonna make a new season for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the Stone Ocean, that I love. It's like a Fist of the North Star thing, but very intensive. I like it a lot, and that's the only thing I did like from that time. And now that I know you see it in Twitter about I forgot the name, Roberts, the director from Kong Island.
Yeah,
that they're trying to talk to make the new Gundam movie. That I like him.
Yeah. I just saw Kong Skull Island for the first time last week.
Yeah, I know.
And I really liked it. I'm like, oh, cool. I'll watch this because I like the director.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see what he does.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I'm also like I've just never seen Gundam.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. But the thing is that Roberts, when I see Kong Skull Island, is that I like it. I enjoyed it, and Tom Hiddleston enjoyed it with him and everything. And also when they say that he's directing the Metal Gear Solid game.
Yeah, I know. I keep waiting for that. I'm waiting for that at this point. I'm like,
also,
just give me the Metal Gear game. Yeah.
Yeah. I also play all the games, and I like the storytelling of the games. I like it because sometimes they got something depictive of real world from here, like socials and everything. But I'm not gonna go there. But the thing is that last like an hour and a half, I was it began my birthday. I'm 44.
Oh, happy birthday.
I'm your big brother. So you know what I mean. So the thing is that I enjoyed in that all this time on my 4 decades that I didn't spend much time. Don't spend much time in social media, but I'm trying to try to get avoided, not get hyped with the movies and everything.
Yeah.
But these two news from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and Gundam, I really want to wait for it and hope to live to see it in this time. And that's the thing that I'm seeing all this world in this world, and when you talk about the critics like the fandom bandits and the geeks and games and everything, in this part of my country in Mexico, I don't care about that. I try to see everything what the industries do. And about the movies, there are two chains of cinemas here in Mexico. They exist, but one is still working for the people, and they are doing picturing movies in their cinemas. It's called Cinepolis, and it's the only one that I saw that this week, or I don't know which day, they're trying to get to revive. They're reviving to see again the trilogy of the Lord of the Rings again.
Oh, they're trying to put that back in theaters?
Yeah, I think they already
they did that earlier. They did that in February where they did I think they put it in IMAX.
Yeah.
Because they just released the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings trilogy at the end of last year in 4K. And those are freaking expensive, man.
I know.
I was looking at them, I'm all like my mom gave me $100 for my birthday and she's like, go spend it on something fun. And I'm like, do I want to go buy the extended cuts of Lord of the Rings in 4K? Because that's like 12 hours and that's going to be fun.
Yeah, no.
So, but I really like those things. But hey, man, I'm going to let you go because I got a couple people to get to still.
Okay.
And
only I can give you you were trying to say about recommendations for anime.
Yeah.
Okay. The ones that I like most of them, and you're gonna, and I don't know if they're in Netflix, but here in Mexico it's gonna be in the 26th of April. It's gonna be JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I don't know if you can see it. Try to watch it and just reflect on it, because it's the animation is like Feast of the North Star, Hulky Mans and everything.
Okay.
That's the one. Other one that I like the most is Monster. It's like a thriller about it's a thriller. I think it's the other one. And the one that to get a context of my favorite series is Gundam. I know if you can watch it, Iron Blood Orphans, because
are these on Netflix?
I don't know. Well, here in Mexico, they're only Iron Blood Orphans, and JoJo is gonna start here in April. I don't know if you have it in the US. I know JoJo is in Crunchyroll, but I don't know. I don't want to pay so much money because I'm only contract Netflix and Disney Plus.
Yeah.
But I know if they're in their catalog, Netflix. So,
I know they got a bunch of anime. It's just like it's I hope I might just start taking like people's requests and like, oh, pick a movie for me to review and I'll review it on the channel, because I want to do more watching and reviewing and do like the live streams over here and talk to you guys. That's kind of the plan. Is like, I mean, the movie news stuff is not going to. We'll talk about it over here, obviously.
I know that,
but it's not a priority. That's the whole point.
And also try to watch Kingslave Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it's
try
on
to watch it.
Okay, I did procure a copy of it.
I know.
So I need to check it out. Is it appropriate for children?
Well, it doesn't have nudity. That's
okay.
But it has a lot of action, not but words. Well, in this case, in the English version, because I have the Spanish version, Mexican version, or Latin American version, is that the lady, the the chick is Lena Headey, I think.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, and the protagonist is Adrian Paul. No, the one from Breaking Bad.
Aaron Paul.
Aaron Paul. That one. And the best actor it has a kill count. Sean Bean.
All right, I might have to
Yeah,
pop it on. You know, it's something like that. Like I know people that like I have 2 monitors on my computer, and I know people who do the same, and they'll put a movie on like their secondary monitor, and they'll just like watch it while they work. But like I get distracted, and I want to watch the movie, so I can't do that. But like I'm almost done with this documentary, and then I can I can work on it. All right, oh, I'm starting to yawn.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Sleep.
All right, we'll talk again soon. Thanks a lot for calling in, dude.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks so much. Have a good one. All right. We'll do, we got Ryan and then John. So we'll just kind of end it with these 2 regulars. How's it going, Ryan?
Hey, Matt. So I just want to follow through on my super chat. There's one movie that I forgot to recommend, and in my opinion, it's something to watch around Mother's Day. It's called Wolf Children by Mamoru Hosoda. So,
Okay. Wolf Children.
mhm.
What is Wolf Children? I know there's a new one called Wolf Walkers, the new animated movie, but let me see here. Wolf Children.
That's by Cartoon Saloon.
Yeah. It's definitely not anime, but it's
It's
let's see
Irish
here.
anime or Irame, but
Is that a thing? Can it be an Itaku? Whatever. I don't know, man. I'm so tired at this point.
mhm.
Okay. Let's see here. It's all right. It's a Japanese anime film directed and co-written by Mamoru Hosoda. This is the second original feature. Okay. All right. There's no quick premise, but
Yeah, it's basically a single mother trying to raise her half human, half wolf children, and their children finding their own, life goals as they grow up in age. So,
okay. It says here she falls in love with an enigmatic man. The man reveals that he can transform into a wolf, and they later have 2 kids. Oh, okay. So I'm like, we'll have to definitely check it out. So, all right. Well, that's definitely something. I'll keep it up here. I'm going to bookmark it so I don't forget it. But all right, man, where can I watch it?
let's see.
Is it
I'm
streaming
not
anywhere?
probably.
Let's see.
I mean, I currently have it on physical media, but
It's on iTunes for like $8, I think.
Oh, okay.
No, hold on. It's on Amazon. Is it available to watch on Amazon? This video is currently unavailable to watch in your location. So does that mean I need to like go through a proxy and log in? Because that was the thing. I was on Amazon last night and I was looking up stuff about Galaxy Quest, and they have it on there. And I was like, oh, what are the is it available to watch on on Amazon? And it said it wasn't, right? It's like you could rent it and buy it. And I'm like, oh, okay. But then like I ended up finding out that it was available to watch on Amazon. And I ended up watching like the first like 30 minutes of the movie because I forgot how absolutely great Galaxy Quest is.
Mhm.
So, sometimes they have that. I don't know why, but I don't know why it's unavailable. This is why this is why I don't like region locking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just all it does is just, let's see here. It just ends up keeping people from seeing stuff.
Yeah, I mean, don't people have NordVPN or whatever?
Yeah, and people have Nord or a few other different ones that are out there. I mean, I can find some free ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's this one video that I recommend watching. It's called "Editing Space Time" by Every Frame a Painting. It's about Satoshi Kon's line of work. And of course, Perfect Blue is on it. Tokyo Godfathers, just talking about how his influence has spread to directors like Christopher Nolan and the Wachowskis and Darren Aronofsky. So,
Huh. All right. Yeah, I know. I know every frame of painting. I know because I know like the ripoff of that, the every frame of pause, which is EFAP, which is like a bunch of fucking idiotic trolls and shit. I don't know. I don't like them. Like Mahler and who's Rags, the fucking furry. You know, like those kind of guys, and all they do is like, you know, they bring on like it's a whole mess. It's a whole the right wingers and shit like that. They're, you know, I'm not a fan. They know I'm not a fan. I once said fuck EFAP on Twitter, like in response to somebody, and then like they all got butthurt at me. They're like, what? Because I don't like your shitty ass 11-hour live stream. They go live for like 11 hours, but they'll have like 6,000 people watching. So they clearly have an audience of people, but they got real mad at what apparently me, a nobody, had to say. It's pretty funny.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all nonsense. It's all nonsense and stuff.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say on here. So I'll let you get to the other person and have a good night. So.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Ryan. Have a good one, buddy. Thank you. Have a good one. All right, and then finally, we're gonna wrap it up with good old John.
Hey, Matt, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Doing okay. I kept you till the end because I thought you might fall asleep.
No.
That's what I was making sure.
That's okay. I watched Kong versus Godzilla versus Kong last Friday, and escaped from college work for a couple hours, and it was an enjoyable movie. I enjoyed watching they should have had Tokyo be destroyed. That's the traditional thing.
Well, they went to Hong Kong because they want the movie to do well in China. You know, and mainland China is basically a big old F you, Hong Kong. You wanted independence and sovereignty. We're going to send two big ass fucking kaiju to fuck up your city. That's what happened.
Yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, it's awful true. I mean, China couldn't wait 50 years. They had to do it right away. They couldn't just, but that'll just become a sat trap for China.
Well, I mean, at this point, you know, the movie did $120 million in China.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
On its opening weekend. Yeah, on its opening weekend.
Yeah, we had 7 people in the theater. So, but it's good. It's doing good over there, I guess.
Well, it's doing good here too. I think it's
really?
it's done. Yeah, it opened to like almost 50 million here in the States last
Oh,
weekend.
wow.
And
That's
then it
pretty
did
good.
like another, and it was number 1 again this weekend. And a lot of people are just like, you know, oh, it's you know, is this what's going to revitalize revitalize what's it called? You know, the movies and shit. And I don't know if that's the case or not, but I will say though, Bill Maher talked about it the other day.
Yeah, I watched him.
And I like what pissed me off about that was he spoiled the ending of like a bunch of, you know, Academy Award nominated movies, right? Like Promising Young Woman, he spoiled the ending of the movie.
Oh.
And I hadn't seen it yet. And I was like, all right, well, dick. And so then I just said, fuck it. And I went and looked up the ending. I'm like, is he telling the truth? And then I read the ending. I'm like, wow, that's really fucked up. Like,
yeah, I looked at all the movies being nominated. I'm like, wow, that's not scraping the bottom of the barrel. That's just punching the bottom out. You know, it's just,
yeah.
Oh
no,
my God.
it's like, again, but the academies have been losing relevance for years. They've been losing so much, you know, for no one cares anymore. Like the views are going down. They're dropping every single year. You know, they go, oh, every time there's a host, there's always controversy. You know, they attack, like when Seth MacFarlane hosted back in 2013, that was great. That was great.
Yeah.
That was the last good one because he actually played up the joke like Billy Crystal used to play up the jokes and made it entertaining. And you know, he did musical numbers and he did a song called I Saw Your Boobs, you know, and it's like they called it like misogynistic and sexist and shit. And it's like, but people were in on the joke. Like the joke is there.
Yeah.
And then, you know, clearly then they brought in like James Franco and Anne Hathaway and like no one liked them because they had like no chemistry.
Right.
And then, you know, like, oh, Jimmy Kimmel a couple times. Then, you know, then they were going to get Kevin Hart. But then people wanted to cancel Kevin Hart because he said something 8 years ago.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, the mistake they make is they're afraid of, you know, negative commentary. And they should learn just to ignore it. I mean, because it's blown out of proportion to what the reality is.
Well, it's just they're so stupid these days. That's all they are. They're just like Hollywood is. I don't want to say Hollywood is bereft of ideas because you know what? That's not true. Hollywood has a lot of ideas. All right. There's tons of writers. They have tons of ideas. What they need is they need to for one, readdress their studio system, how the studio system operates, because we're clearly past it. It's an old, antiquated dinosaur system that is not evolving with the times as rapidly as it should. Now, granted, this last year has kind of forced them to have to go and change their tactics.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I'm an inventor and I invent things, and the biggest problem you run into is, you know, if they didn't invent it themselves, they're not interested. I mean, I came up with a phrase: if you're not part of the club, they're not going to listen to you. So that the club that they have is just keeping recycling what they think will work, and the reality is what's different is working.
Well, that's actually, I mean, sometimes yes, sometimes no. You know, like they'll do a remake of an old movie that people like you and me would go, no, come on, guys, don't do this. And then the movie comes out and it does really well. And you're like, well, what the hell? Like, this is,
Well, that's because I realized that, you know, there are actually younger people than me. So, you know, you kind of realize these people haven't seen that movie, so they don't know. You know?
Yeah, well, the younger generation, you know, like look at the 2014 RoboCop, right? A lot of people were just like, "Oh no, no RoboCop, no RoboCop." But you know, and I was kind of in the same boat. And then I watched it, and I actually really liked it because it dealt with different themes, kind of like the 2011. I think it was a 2011-2012 remake of Total Recall. Nowhere near as good as the Schwarzenegger Paul Verhoeven movie, because that movie is one of my all-time favorites. However, it was different enough to be something that was, you can look at it and go, oh, it's more in line with the book. And it's different on that front. And you're like, oh, okay. Like it's almost like it's a whole different story. Did that mean it was good? No, not necessarily. You know, it started off okay, but the ending kind of sucked. So that's kind of the way, you know, like those kind of movies go. But now it's like, because do you remember in like the early 2000s when there was that massive trend of remaking all the Japanese horror movies?
No, in 2000 I was in the Navy, so I was either, oh God, what was I doing? Oh no, I was working at a grocery store overnight, so I never saw movies for like probably half a decade.
It started in like 2002 with Gore Verbinski remaking The Ring, or remaking Ringu, and that was a legitimate horror movie. That movie blew the hell up, right?
Right,
blew the hell up. A lot of people really liked it. As far as those kind of movies go, yeah, it's good. They fucked it up with the sequels. They did Ring 2, and then they just did Ring, like The Ring, whatever.
Right.
It was all right, whatever, man. Like they tried. But then the next year they did The Grudge. That was in the Sarah Michelle Gellar, The Grudge.
Okay.
It was terrible. Ju-On, the original Japanese film, was actually fucking creepy. This one was bad. And then they went as far as they brought Jessica Alba, and they did one called The Eye, where like a woman, you know, loses her eyes, and I think she gets them like in surgery from a dead person, and she could see like what they saw. I don't know. That wasn't that one wasn't so bad. But then you had this. It was called like The Boogeyman, right? Right. And there's a controversy surrounding one of these movies. I think it's The Boogeyman. It came out through one of Sony's smaller companies, and Sony actually invented a film critic in order to market this movie, right? They invented a fake film critic to put on the posters.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
In order to to give it good reviews, and that doesn't get talked about enough in regards to like shady tactics that these studios do. And that's another reason why I don't just want to cover the new stuff anymore. I'm so tired of these studios. I'm tired of the bullshit. I'm tired of the spin. you know what? I would rather talk about the merits of the project itself, not what could potentially be happening. You know? And that's another reason why I'm just kind of done with that shit. Cause it's like, there's so much more interesting things.
Yeah. It's like when you see an ad for a movie, it's the same voiceover guy saying, "This is the number one movie. This is the number one movie." Every movie, you know, it's just,
yeah.
But,
this is like the number one action comedy released on the second Tuesday of the month during a weird lunar cycle. Also, the year of the dog. And they do that too. If you go and you look, they'll be like, "This is the number one movie released during the third weekend of February." You know, like, okay. And they'll be like, it's just like they look for these really weird ways to like try to, you know,
they just make stuff up, you know.
They just and they spin it, and it's like, I don't care anymore. You know, like I've I was doing a series called The Aftermath, where I would like look at like a film after it comes out, after its opening weekend. Like, what do the critics say? What do the fans say? What is the cinema score? What's Rotten Tomato score?
What happened?
What's his, box office earnings, things like that. Well, that's all fucking dead. You know, and it's like, you can't do that right. Haven't been able to do that in a year. And I mean, like, so that kind of went out of the way. But again, a lot of people, like if you talk to Netflix will say like, hey, we've made a bunch of Adam Sandler movies because people keep fucking watching them.
Right.
And so they like them. They keep watching them.
Yeah. Adam Sandler, when he played that jeweler in that movie, that was a pretty good movie. I mean, I
haven't seen Uncut Gems yet.
Okay. I won't tell you about the ending. Yeah, you do. I was like, where did he go for a while? But I said, wow, he can actually act. So I won't tell you the ending.
He can definitely act if he's got the right material.
Right.
That's the thing with Adam Sandler.
If people always kind of,
Well, yeah, people always kind of undercut Adam Sandler, in my opinion. I once made a video in 2015 talking about why I like Adam Sandler movies. Cost me 300 subscribers in a day. Not even kidding you. 300 subscribers in a day because I said I like Adam Sandler movies. I still stand by that video.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I mean,
I mean, people who know me know I don't give a shit about that kind of stuff.
Right.
But all right, man, I'm gonna let you go because I've got to get to bed.
Gotta get some sleep. No problem.
All right. Well, thank you. I'll see you later, John. Have a good one. Thank you very much, man. All right, Alex here. Let Matt go to sleep. I know I'm tired. I'm tired, guys. I'm doing this in an attempt to lose some weight. I've been doing intermittent fasting. So I eat from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Generally, it's even later than that, like 10, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. But I stop at 5. Don't need to get into the morning. So I'm hungry and I'm tired and I'm there. End of my day. But listen, I'd like to thank everyone for popping on and hanging out. Thank you, H. Bartz, for the super chats. Thank you, Ash and Andrew. Really appreciate that as well. Everyone else who kicked in tonight, Ryan, everyone who called in. Thank you guys. You guys make this job a lot of fun. And we're going to find ways to have more fun. Talk about some more stuff. Definitely 100%. Well, all right, guys, why don't you go get some sleep? I'm going to go get some sleep. Have yourself a great night. I'll talk to you all later. And Army of the Dead trailer, a couple hours. All right. Peace out.